guys, this is Donna's Movies, and in this video I will be covering the Demon Hunters. Recently they were announced as a playable hero class in Legion, and I'm pretty sure almost everyone will at least make one just to try it out, but not that many people actually know their lore and how they work, so in this video I'm going to only cover the current information that we have on them, so a lot of things are kinda subject to change once the expansion is actually out and they're more of like a current thing. But anyways, let's not waste any more time and let's just get into their lore. The Demon Hunters are one of the most mysterious classes and the most shunned ones by pretty much all societies, or at least all playable ones. The first and the original Demon Hunter was Illidan, who is, in a sense, one of a kind Demon Hunter. During the War of the Ancients and the first Burning Legion invasion 10,000 years ago, Illidan kinda invented the fighting concept of fighting destruction with destruction and using the powers of the Burning Legion against the Burning Legion. Through his fake allegiance with the Burning Legion, Sargeras personally scorched out his eye sockets, which did not only make him lose his vision, but also gave him the ability to sense magic around him, which is extremely useful since the Demon Hunters rely on absorbing powers of demons, and Illidan was also given magic tattoos which further increase his arcane powers. So, at the time, Illidan was the only Demon Hunter, and a lot of the Night Elves were completely against it, even though technically it was for a good purpose. That combined with the Well of Eternity incident, Illidan was locked away for 10,000 years, and so was the idea of the Demon Hunters, or at least that is what the Night Elves thought, because there were certain individuals within the Night Elves that admired the idea of a Demon Hunter, and many of them actually wanted to try it out for themselves. Obviously, since they couldn't really become a Demon Hunter through the same means Illidan was made, they had to be creative, which gave birth to the initial Demon Hunter ritual. In order to become a Demon Hunter, a lot of sacrifices had to be made. First was the soul and the body, and then their position within the society, as the Night Elves essentially despise Demon Hunters, and so do most other races as well at this point. And when one wants to be a Demon Hunter, he also has to go through a few rituals. First one is actually finding a demon and then sacrificing him in order to bind a portion of its spirit to the Demon Hunter. After that, a Demon Hunter has to burn out his eyes, which grants him almost the same ability that Illidan has, which is sensing magic. Even though a Demon Hunter doesn't really have eyes, it doesn't mean that they can't see at all. Most creatures within their sight are kind of visible as these glowing forms in like a grey dark background, while demonic energy is extremely bright, which serves the Demon Hunters perfectly well, and that is why they actually want to acquire this vision so they can sense the demonic magics. Now, since this process requires a lot of sacrifices, there are also quite some side effects, such as horns, hooves, skin variations that can even have spikes on them, also a tail, and in some cases even wings. Most of these characteristics depend on the actual power of a Demon Hunter. For example, an Initiate won't have all of these, and he will most likely look like his previous form, only with some tattoos or an eye patch, which is mainly just a decoration to hide their scorched eyes. The actual eye patch doesn't really have a certain purpose, and the Demon Hunters actually sometimes just take off their eye patch in order to show off their burnt eyes to kinda appear more intimidating. As they grow in power, these characteristics become a lot more exaggerated, and the horns that may have once been only coming out can now be full-blown like horns. Also, at the final stage of this process, a Demon Hunter might develop like large wings and strong hooves, essentially just resembling what Illidan looks like. The biggest feature out of all of these cosmetic aspects is the soul. That is the biggest transformation and the biggest sacrifice. Once a Demon Hunter is very powerful, he can actually become a demon himself, or at least sort of like a twisted form of a demon, like a half demon. Most of the Demon Hunters, they claim they can control it and keep their previous personality, but at the end stages it can be quite hard to control the demon inside, and it can be quite a struggle. The main reason why all of these changes happen comes down to how Demon Hunters actually work. Essentially, they absorb demons, or at least their demonic essence, and thus they get more powerful themselves, and they're actually able to channel the power that they absorb. The best example of this is the Metamorphosis form that only advanced demon hunters can do, which significantly increases their power, but depending on their actual strength, it can only last for a short amount of time. Stronger demon hunters can probably use this form a lot more, while the weaker ones can only use it for a really short period of time. Another thing they can also do is they can empower their weapons in a form of an enchantment, which increases the damage that they do. When it comes to the equipment, they're very specific and only wear the lightest of armors, and they completely disregard any heavy armor. The males, they're usually shirtless, while the females only wear a certain amount of clothes only to cover themselves. And the reason for this is to maintain agility and speed, which is essentially the strongest weapon they have in their arsenal. I mean, they're fighting demons who can sometimes be 10-20 times bigger than them, and really no amount of armor can really absorb any of the damage, so the only way they can really fight them is to be swift and just hit the enemy fast. Their weapon of choice are the Warglaives, which are heavily referenced to the Glaives of Azeroth. Now, the reason for them using these Warglaives isn't really specified, but we do know that these glaives are really hard to master and it takes a long time to actually use them effectively, but once they are mastered, they can be a lot deadlier than your average sword or an axe. The glaives give them an advantage in their agile combat as they kinda cover up their arm, and they also allow them to hit the enemy with like bigger strikes, and they can do it much faster when they use their own proper specific technique. Alright, that is all I have for this lore lesson. Now, as I said at the start, this is most of the current information to have, so keep that in mind once the expansion is out and someone is watching this. There might be some stuff that is obsolete in this video or some stuff that is retcon, but that is about all that we really know at this point. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, as it really helps out the channel and keeps all these videos going. And thanks a lot for taking the time out of the day to watch this video, and see you next time.